Hi, I'm Ed Parcaut, your host of Inner Edison, and I want you to take away from today's show is your greatest accomplishments come from your greatest defeats. And today our guest is Martha Krejci.
Krejci.
Krej, you said
Krejci. No, listen,
Krejci.
you said it better
Krejci.
than most people do.
I apologize. It's like my last name Parcaut. No one ever gets it right. But we're actually at a conference, and they have this bus that we can do our podcast on. And I thought this would be great for us to do our podcast because we're both here. We can do it live, which I have not been able to do at Inner Edison, where I'm next to that person. So this is really amazing for me. So I don't know how it is for you, but that's how it is for me.
I am having the absolute best time. You guys, we are legit inside of a bus and we have cameras pointed at us. We have people walking around us. This is the best.
Right.
The best.
And so I was thinking, I know about like 5 things about you, right? Because I met you last time. It's down here in San Diego. The last time we were here at a speakeasy. I know you're a force to be reckoned with, right? I mean, I can see it on your shirts. I can see everything you put out there. There's a few other things that I know your mother, right, and that your family's important to you,
Yes.
right. Then there's a few other things that I'll bring out through the rest of this, but for my listeners don't know who you are,
Yeah.
And you want to give a little background so they know who you are.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, first of all, thanks for having me. Like, this is the
my
coolest.
pleasure.
I love being able to chat with you. So, yeah, I basically I was a woman who was following the norm of corporate America. Start climbing the ladder, doing the things, and I was doing that and was in a large tech company for a little over 5 years in leadership. And then one day, I got a video from my husband as I was at work. So I was sitting in the middle of my carpeted cubicle that smelled a lot like the 60s and had all of my motivational quotes up that kept me going through the day. And I went to go take a break because I was just done. And so whenever I was on my break, I was scrolling through my phone and I saw a video come through from my husband, and I looked at the thumbnail and it was my daughter on her feet. And so that had never happened before, and I pushed play on the video, and it was my daughter taking her very first clumpy, sort of pigeon-toed first steps toward the phone. And I was so excited, and as a mom, that's like my only girl, and I was like, my gosh, she's taking her first steps, and like my face lit up. I saw her being so proud of herself, and then immediately, as quick as I was excited, I also just like the air just got knocked out of me because I realized she wasn't taking them toward me. I wasn't there. I get to see her, but she didn't get to see me in that moment. And for the rest of my life, I have decided I'm not missing those things. And so I quit my job that day, and I have not looked back. And that's where my story took a turn.
That's a huge step, because most people won't just quit. Right. They'll go, okay, I'm going to do this when I get to this, and I'll do this. So with that quitting, that had to be, scary, extremely scary for you, because one, I don't know. So your husband, was he kind of a stay-at-home, or did he work from home?
He was working from home, so
Okay.
we had dabbled in some things. We were messing around with creating websites for people, and a website that we created, as he was just messing around and creating one for himself. He was goofing off with graphics, and he ended up playing around and making a dog walking website just to make the website. And then he liked the website so much he started a business.
Oh no! Because what I was getting is trying to understand, how he was at home with your child.
He was walking dogs, man.
Oh, there you go. Hey, however, a business is a business as long as you can make some money. You're helping people and you're making some money to live off of, right?
Yeah.
And people's definition of success is different for everyone. Absolutely. Right? Some people are like, I won't want 250 employees. I only want myself and a few people so that I have that time to be at home with my family, or spend the time with my wife, or do vacations, do other stuff. Yeah. For ourselves, we were able to walk the Camino de Santiago. Yes, we didn't take the full month off, but we took 3 weeks off, and we were able to do that. Yeah. So you can't define what that means to everyone. It's what it means to you, right?
Yeah.
So when you went home, how'd that go? What was the first thing you guys? I'm sure I'm sure he was okay with it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me tell you how that went. So you've met Mike, and so you understand.
I met Mike, but I've not really met Mike. All right, so he's always there.
Yep.
He's very quiet.
Yeah.
And that's why I said you're the person that, you're that person who's out there, and so I
Yeah.
don't know much about your husband.
He's the stoic guy. The way I describe him is that he holds the string to my balloon. He keeps me from flying away in all of my, like charismatic, let's just do some stuff. And he's the one that says, okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I think everybody needs one of those. And Mike is that for me. And so that said, whenever I decided I was going to quit my job and I'm driving home, I'm imagining what my conversation is going to be like with this guy whenever I get home. And so I think a lot of us do this. I started going over different potential conversations, different ways it could go. And I was bracing myself for potential chaos because I'm essentially, what I haven't said yet is that we bought a really expensive house. And that I wasn't just supporting our family. I was also supporting my husband's parents, because they had moved in with us because his dad, who was in his 70s, had just lost his job. And when you're in your 70s, you don't get another job. And so we bought this house to be able to hold two families. And I was the main breadwinner for all of that. And so on my way home, I'm like, this could go badly. But also I can't do this. And so whenever I got home, I put my purse on the counter, my keys on the counter. I looked over at him. I took a big gulp because I was like, we're going to do this. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't work there anymore. I have to be able to work from home. Let's start our own agency. I know how to do this stuff. Let's go. And then he said the weirdest thing ever. He said, Martha, if you don't do this, you're not only doing yourself, but everybody around you a disservice. And I was like, what did this man just say to me? Like, who is this?
Right,
this is not his. Yeah. And so that's how I knew I had to do it.
Right.
Because the words coming out of his face did not match his demeanor ever in life. And so I knew that that was actually something different coming through him, in my opinion. And I was like, okay, then game on, let's do this. And we haven't looked back.
And so now your agency, let's go into your agency. But first I had a question. What year was that when you quit?
That was in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't during the period of time 2006, 7, 8, 9 when a lot of people were out of,
Yeah. No, it was 2016. It was when our girl took her first steps, and then I was done. So couldn't do it anymore.
All right, so you've been doing this for a few years.
Yeah.
All right. So the agency that you're talking about that you started, what is that agency?
That agency, that one isn't around anymore. But what we started was, I have a weird, uncanny understanding of SEO. Mm-hmm. And I understand Google's algorithms on a cellular level. I feel like everybody just has these weird gifts, and it's just one that I have. I understand an algorithmic change before Google even announces it. I just see it. And so what I started was an SEO agency, because that's what I understood and what I was really good at. And so I joined in with the Chamber of Commerce, started going and doing trainings on SEO. And as we understand, business owners love to hear about SEO, but they do not want to do it themselves. So all I had to do, I luckily just fell into doing trainings, and I thought I was just going to be doing trainings. But then everybody that I was training was like, we need you to work for us. And so that very first month of my business, I was making as much as I made at my job. And so I didn't even skip a beat, thank goodness. But yeah, the first agency, it was SEO, and then we built into web design, and you build into other services, but we started with SEO.
And then where'd you go from there?
So from there,
because I want to talk about your business, your background, and where you are now, right? So I kind of want to understand more. So this is I'm curious, okay?
Yeah.
I'm very curious when I do these. And so when people ask, well, how do you know? It's because I want to know what your journey, right?
Yeah.
And so the listeners are going to want to know the journey and understand, yes, you can make this change in your life. Yes, you can be successful. You can fail. You can learn about that and keep moving on.
Yes, absolutely. Well, from the agency, what I discovered with the agency, because it's just funny how life works. You get your next seed for the next thing that you're going to do probably through the one that you're in. So people will say, well, I failed at this and I failed at that. Well, did you really? Because you took a seed from it. If you can truly look back on things clearly, you probably took a seed from it in order to take your next step. So with the agency, what I discovered was I had some people coming up to me that wanted to work with us, but they couldn't afford to work with us. And I really loved what they were doing. And I wanted to be able to support them, but they couldn't afford us at all. And so what I moved into at that point was I moved into a directory site. So just think, directory listings. This
Okay.
is when directories were really big and whatever. And what I was thinking was, okay, well, I'm really great at SEO. I'm really great at all this web development and everything. Well, let me go ahead and just optimize this one directory site, and then whenever people come onto that site, they're by nature optimized, and it was really great for their SEO when they came on there, but it ended up being just more work than it was worth. And so at that point we moved into a space of teaching people how to do what we do. So instead of, I can't afford you to do it or afford for you to do it for me, instead it was like, okay, well, let me at least teach you how to do it. If you can't afford for me to be able to do it for you, no big deal. Let me show you. Teach a man to fish, right?
Right.
And that's where we moved into that model.
And is that what you're doing now?
That's still what we do. So we moved into that model completely, teach them how to do what we've done ourselves. So now what we've even been able to do ourselves is we created multiple income streams around ourselves, and that's through different channels. So affiliate marketing, courses, coaching, consulting, all sorts of different things, referral marketing. And so we've used all of that to create massive wealth for our family. We work like 5 to 10 hours a week. Sometimes we work more, but we don't have to. And so we teach families how to be able to do that. So it's another iteration of still, the same thing that we did before. And then we moved back into agency model in social media. So we have an agency we just started called Sales Driven Social, and we actually turn social media on its head, and actually it's results based social media. So not just slapping stuff up there, but actually having calls to action, moving the dial on people's sales rather than just putting stuff on social media.
So you help people start home-based businesses, right? Is it basically what I'm hearing?
Working from home, absolutely.
Yeah. So, because I could have swore I saw, did you write a book about home-based business or something?
Yep, the home-based revolution.
Yeah, I can see it. All right,
Yeah.
I know I saw it somewhere, and so I wanted to talk about that. So, what got you into wanting to write a book about that? What you do. Oh.
Somebody was like, "Why don't you write a book?" And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't write books. And they were like, well, you really need to. And I said, okay, hook me up with somebody that can help me. I'm always a big fan of just using other people to be able to help and stuff. Like, I'm not good at everything, right? And so if I can find somebody that can help me get this done, then sure, I'll go ahead and do it. And so we did that. And the weirdest thing is Simon & Schuster picked us up. I've never written a book before in my life. And Simon & Schuster went ahead and picked us up for our very first book. And I'm like, what on earth is happening right now? So now it's on, the pre-orders are being delivered right now. And then it's actually going to be, I guess, released out into the wild, into Barnes & Noble and all the places on September 28th.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. A lot of people don't realize how hard it is usually to write a book and get a publisher to pick you up.
It was crazy.
There must be something about you. No, and you have presence about you that is very nice, and the way you come across and the way you talk and the way you understand what you understand. You say you understand what the SEO, like you can read it, right? I'm that way with numbers. Numbers are my thing, and that's why I'm in the mortgage industry. It's like I just know numbers, right? I can. Someone says, "What is it?" And I can tell you right now what that is, right?
That's awesome.
When it comes to decimal points and all that kind of stuff for our industry. Sorry, I said I can't believe I said Must be tired today. And that's the one problem about being here, is being so tired.
Yeah.
I wanted to go over, all right, so we talked about your home. Where are you guys going now? You just said you started your agency for social media. Is that what is that like, okay, I'm going to build this up like Magic Johnson said today? You're going to sell it in 3 to 4 years, or is it just another income stream going forward? What's your plan? Do you guys have any?
I see things like I live in them, so I see things as income streams moving forward. Now, do will we come to a point where we can sell? Likely, but I'm a big fan of the concept of having at least one of your income streams without your name on it. So my daughter will be able to have something if she wants to run it, that she's able to actually run with, that doesn't have mommy's name on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's important, but that would be able to be sellable because it doesn't have my name on it. Um, so that's where I see it right now. I just live in the moment because I can't build things if I know I'm going to release them. That's where I can't put my heart and soul into it if I know I'm going to release it, and that's not doing it a justice at all. So I don't even put my eyes on the end. And I know that some people are like, you should have your eyes on where you want to go. If you're clear on where you want to go, sure. What I'm clear on right now is how I want to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I'm living at this point.
I was reading an Audible book on the way down. It was written by a lady who, was sick, had a vending business when she was like 16. Her dad helped her get it, and then she ended up selling it to an 11-year-old girl. And what I'm getting at is it's important for us to teach our kids about business. If they want to go work for somebody, then that's one thing. But if you want to have your own business and all what it comes with that freedom of having your own business, yes, you have headaches. Yes, you have this. But that's okay. You have to learn and get systems in place, other things in place, so that you can focus on what you really want to do and what you love. It sounds to me like you love what you're doing.
I 100% love what I'm doing. That's where Mike and I will sit. We have our quiet time is where we hardly ever watch TV, but we'll watch TV like one show a night after our girl goes to bed. And sometimes we even pause the show and we just talk business. And some people might say, you're obsessed with business. You talk about business too much. I don't know. I think it's kind of perfect because business is fun to us. It's a game to us. And I really think that, in my opinion anyway, I want to work with people that have fun doing what they're doing because I think that they bring an entire creativity and energy to projects that you're just not going to see anywhere else. And I imagine customer service is also going to follow in line, and company culture and all of that stuff, right? But yeah, I don't remember what the question was. See, here we go. This is what time is it on the third day?
It wasn't necessarily a question, but I was talking about how daughters and how old is your daughter right now?
She's 6.
Oh, so you got a while before you have to worry about teaching her business and her own
she knows business though.
But her own, maybe, who knows? Maybe, I mean, we all had limit. I mean, that whole vending machine business that someone had at 11, that's amazing to me because my kids didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff when they were growing up. They were like nothing to do with business. They just wanted to do the other stuff. And it's weird how nowadays this younger generation is more like us, right?
Yeah.
In our generation, who wants to work, who wants to be at home and make money, but be able to be with the family. And one thing I was thinking about you were saying how you want to be around people who talk business. I see, for me, I want to be around husbands and wives who love each other, right?
Wow.
And they love talking and spending time with each other, and that's what they want to do. That's who I want to hang with. And the problem is you run into people who don't do that, and that's not who I want to be around.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with that. And with the kids and the business thing, that is like, Nora wants so badly to be an integral part of our business right now, and she's 6, right?
That's
so
amazing.
What I do with her is I give her like ownership. So she gets to decide the names of some things. She gets to have her input, so she knows she's a part of the family business and she knows she's on our team and stuff like that. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to make a circus across the street from our house. Here's why. Because we would get those catalogs. I can't remember the name of them, but they have a bunch of party supplies in them. Do you know what I'm saying? Oriental Trading.
Okay.
And so you look through the catalog. Everybody gets them. Does anybody buy anything from them?
Are they still around?
Yeah, I still get them.
Oh, okay.
I think from when I was 6. But you go through them and it's like, okay, well, there's a bunch of party supplies. Well, now I want to make a party. And I used to live in the country and not a lot of friends lived around me. When you live in the country, you're kind of isolated. I was also not an only child, but the closest sibling was 13 years older than me. So I would go through the catalog and I would imagine the fair or circus that I would put on across the street and all the details that I needed for it. Like I was an entrepreneur from 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah. I mean, that's your story. I know it's not over. It's just the beginning, and how you went from being able to, I don't want to be away from my daughter. I want to spend time and have a business from home so I can spend time with my family is huge. There's many people who want to go that path and they don't know how to go that path. Now, your book, does it kind of tell them how to go through that path a little bit? Okay, so name of your book again, so my listeners can go out and get it when it's available. So if they want to start their own home-based business, they know how to do that, because I want everybody to be able to be in business if that's what they want to do.
Absolutely. It's the home-based revolution. You can just go to marthasbook.com and get it there.
There you go, marthasbook.com. And Martha, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it too. We're having fun in this bus here.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed it, please just, follow us. And that's all we ask. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you.